For this video, I made a poll on my Instagram between D.Va and Reinhardt won. So if you would have preferred D.Va, maybe next time you should get on my Instagram and vote!
Macro the Science Bro. Macro Science Bro.
Macro
the Science Bro.
Hello, boys and girls. I am Dr. Macro. You should know that everything that I'm about to say is proven scientifically, and you can trust me because of my lab coat and glasses and my vaguely European accent. One of the greatest mysteries of our time is, what is Reinhardt? Is it a tiny man in a big mech suit? Is it a really big man in a regular sized suit? Or is it a regular man in an oversized suit? The correct answer is usually the most obvious answer. And the most obvious answer is it's a regular dude in a big suit. I'm like 100% sure that nobody thought Reinhardt was this gigantic human being. I got paid for this. I have a PhD, for Christ's sake.
Macro the Science Bro.
Yo, this that quarter life crisis over borderline trauma that control my life more than I control my life. Damn near mortified. I just got demoralized. I don't know my purpose, so I might as well enjoy the ride. Yo.
Reinhardt is one of the original heroes in Overwatch, and one of the founding members of the group. Reinhardt's full name is Reinhardt Wilhelm, and he was always built to be a fighter. I mean, look at the guy. When he was younger, he joined the German armed forces, and later became a lieutenant in the Crusaders. During the Omnic crisis, he was stationed in Eichenwald, alongside his mentor and father figure, General Baldric von Adler, the leader of the Crusaders. Baldric was invited to join Overwatch, and was intending to join, and told Reinhardt all about it, until Eichenwald was suddenly attacked by Omnics. Reinhardt disobeyed orders and just went to town on the Omnics, but his recklessness almost got him and his mentor killed. Baldric was severely wounded and ordered Reinhardt to go back to the rally point. His master sacrificed his life for the Crusaders, and after the Battle of Eichenwald, Reinhardt was the last Crusader left. So without anyone left, he took his master's invitation and joined Overwatch himself. Reinhardt became one of the fiercest champions of Overwatch, and he was loved by all for having such a larger-than-life personality, and also being an insanely fierce warrior. Nobody messes with Reinhardt. He especially got along with Torbjorn. In fact, Torbjorn's daughter Brigitte is Reinhardt's goddaughter. There's also a hint that Anna and him have a relationship, kind of.
Do you remember that night? Dancing in the command center until dawn.
We were foolish, weren't we?
Perhaps we still are.
Who's Farah's dad, huh? Anyways, after Overwatch disbanded, he didn't sit idly by, and still defended those who needed him the most, like Omnics that were being attacked during a protest. So when Winston recalled all of Overwatch, you could tell he wanted to come back. And he was super ready to save the day and make me cry because this scene goes hard. So that's Reinhardt's story in a nutshell. He's pretty straightforward, nothing too deep about him. He's that epic huge warrior with a heart of gold, like a really nice uncle or a teddy bear. So now that you know who Reinhardt is, let's learn how to play him. Shall we? Reinhardt is from a bygone era of Overwatch, where the characters were extremely simple, so don't be surprised if this video isn't as long as my other videos. His weapon of choice is his rocket hammer. It's a hammer with rockets on it. He swings this hammer with a max range of 5 meters, and does a whopping 85 damage per swing. He swings at roughly 1 swing per second, so it does a ton of damage. There's nothing too deep here to explain. He swings left, and then he swings right, and maybe he swings left again. No aim required. Hashtag no aim, no brain Reinhardt mains. Swing away and kill everything in your path. Shields can't even block it either, so enemy Reinhardts and Sigmas have to respect the hammer time. His main ability is his barrier field. He can hold up a barrier that has 1200 health, and if it's not being used for 2 seconds, it will regenerate back at a rate of 144 barrier health a second. When you use the barrier, you're slowed by 30%. This is the classic barrier that is Overwatch. Every single game has copied this barrier. Even Fortnite has done it recently. Your team can shoot through it, but enemies cannot until it's broken. If it does break though, it will be on a longer cooldown to regenerate. So I'd recommend trying your best to not let it break. It's great for blocking choke points and stopping people from killing weakened teammates, including yourself. And if you play around the fact that it regenerates, you can create a ton of space for your team with an unlimited shield, swinging and shielding and rinsing and repeating. His next ability is Charge. You can charge with your rocket boosted back for up to 50 meters. This can also pin an enemy down, and weaker enemies will instantly die if you pin them to a wall because it does 225 damage per pin. One of the best changes to this ability that came in Overwatch 2 is that now you can choose when to stop it, which you couldn't do before, which means you no longer have to do a suicide charge off the map.
Goodbye.
He killed himself though. He had the opportunity to stop it and not kill himself.
He needs your video. He needs your video.
Oh, he does need my video. You can instead do a nice charge and then stop, and then bada bing bada boom, you get a free kill on any hero that doesn't have mobility. This ability is also his only real movement, so use it to get back to the objective a lot faster. Just don't run into a wall, you noob. His final ability is Fire Strike. You get two projectiles of fire that you can strike through your hammer. Overwatch 2 is pretty dope. It does 90 damage, which is a lot. It can also go through barriers, and it can go through enemies, meaning that you can get multiple kills with one fire strike. It's great for finishing off an enemy. Sorry, ignore that. It's great for finally killing an enemy, especially once they leave your hammer's range. Your ultimate is Earth Shatter, which is where you swing that thing in the air and slam it down, shattering the earth. Wow, these names are clever. It hits the area in front of you for 20 meters, and anyone on the ground will be tripped up and stunned for 2 seconds. Anyone directly in front of the hammer will be hit with a 255 damage blow to the face. So, most heroes will die instantly. This is one of the most iconic ultimates. It can win you a game if you time it right and knock multiple people to the ground. Sometimes, it's worth it to just use it on one person, but most of the time, you want that glorious feeling of hitting the whole enemy team. I recommend that after you shatter, you first fire strike a bit and then swing and then charge, because that will give your team the most damage and it won't accidentally knock a bunch of the enemies around when you do charge in. But I get it, it's exciting. We've all charged after earth shattering, don't lie. It's not as useful as it used to be in Overwatch 1, but you could still do a sneaky flank shatter. The reason why it's not as useful anymore is that now it's pretty obvious when the only tank is missing. Reinhardt was one of my original mains besides Winston back in the day, so I have a ton of hours on him, like an absurd amount. So listen to these pro tips. Number 1, Reinhardt pairs very well with the boy Lucio. His speed fixes Rein's core problem with his weapon. Lucio's speed boost lets Reinhardt get in and wreak havoc. The same thing can be said for Kiriko's ultimate as well. On top of making him faster, he can swing like crazy with it up. One of the coolest tricks that is not heavily recommended, but you can do, is that you can teleport in with Reinhardt and get to the back line, and then charge into one of the enemies right back to your team. It's a really aggressive play that can pay off very well. Number 2, Reinhardt can do literally nothing to a Pharah. Yeah, you can time a fire strike to maybe hit an enemy in the air, but for the most part, you'll need to have DPS on your team that can shoot her out of the sky, or else you're just a sitting duck. Number 3, there are a lot of enemy abilities that can completely block your Earth Shatter, so make sure to use it when you know they're on cooldown. These are the abilities that can block Rein's Earth Shatter. Number 4, and the final tip is swap off Reinhardt. He's just too hard countered by almost everything in this game, making him one of the weakest tanks. There's some maps where he is better, but he is simply outclassed 90% of the time. Seriously though, everything counters him. Doomfist can punch through his shields, Ramatra can punch through his shield, Orissa's ultimate can kill him through the shield, Kiriko can negate his ultimate, Ana can sleep him. He's just a tank who has been bullied out of relevancy, and until Blizzard does something to help him, just do yourself a favor and switch. So please, Blizzard, buff Reinhardt and stop giving people abilities that ignore his entire kit. He really is just a sitting duck a lot of the time. Overall, Reinhardt is a classic tank and is still a ton of fun to play, but at the moment he's just not the most viable pick, and you'll have better luck using other tanks in ranked. But how is he for noobs? For noobs, I would say he's medium difficulty to play. Sure, you don't need aim to be good with him, but proper spacing and management of your abilities will be what carry you to the top with a guy like Reinhardt. Seriously, in the right hands, he's a beast.
Play of the game.
But what do you think? Is he easy to play or hard to play? Do you think he needs buffs or nerfs? Let me know in the comments down below. According to my scientific calculations, the video is over, so I'll catch you later. Ya noob!